Okay, good afternoon to all of us, and welcome back from that powerful lunch and the exercise that we had in writing letters using bodies. This is the improved version of our own content yesterday. Yesterday it was something sketchy, though at that time we thought we put the best. But due to more and more studies and more experience gained, we again said no. We have to again go back and clarify some things. So we have a topic about irrigation, and we are trying to create an animation of irrigation. So we have irrigation principles as our topic. And irrigation principles is best described, or you can define it by that. So this side, we indicate the notes or the instructions that are to be given to the animator. So to the all slides, we shall have the notice for the animator here, and then the audio text in that area. And what is going to be on that frame, or you call it something like the actual content that we want it to come out will appear around there. I just liked this format because there's a way how it arranges work. So on the first is an introduction slide, and the animator has to create a pipe sprinkling out water to crops in the garden controlled by a person. I think this message can easily be understandable by anyone out there. And then a pop-up of the heading followed by its definition below it, but they should come to the screen at different times. So the animator will have to know that the heading is followed by its definition. So heading first, then the definition again, and then these are the words that are going to be read. Our mind here concentrated too much on this blind person. I'm not seeing what is happening, but can I pick the definition? Because that is the target of me, the lecturer. I want this person to know the definition of irrigation principles, even if you are blind. So once this text is uttered out in voice format, when irrigating crops, even if this person is not seeing the image, but once I tell you that when irrigating crops, you have the mind that someone is irrigating crops. And then I tell you there are principles followed. But these principles refer to different ways in which crop. This is not a word that is going to be on the screen. This is something that is going to be put in audio. Yeah. So you should not see it as a repetition here. All right, so the next slide, we have a different field layouts. There are so many. We have types, and we have rectangular, like yesterday we saw, trapezoidal, and curved. But today, we have added in something here due to more clarification that we got. This was there yesterday, but we added something to do with shapes should be real gardens depicting from respective shapes, and most importantly, around there. If you saw this presentation yesterday, we didn't have that. So this person who is not able to see the shapes on the screen, they are hearing it in words. The layouts include rectangular, like a table. So then if you're blind and you hear a table is rectangular, so somebody will hear the shape. And then we have trapezoidal. We had a little bit here of brain teaser on how to get objects that are in a trapezium form. But at the end, we got a wheelbarrow shape. I think is in something like a trapezium. So, and then we have irrigation methods. These were there yesterday, but allow me just point at only this. So animate the water sprinkling, water dripping, water flowing in fallows should be animated in a garden environment. Now, I think we have taken up, we have left something like a trajectory or something that is not clear to the mind of the animator. So we are talking about sprinkling. I don't know whether can't they understand sprinkling? I think sprinkling is more okay. And we are saying that they should pop up with its name, like this information doesn't have to be there, written there. To make it enticing, it has to pop up and then at a mention of its name, and another one pops up, and something like that, such that the mind of a student does not get tired. It is exploring more. Another thing is coming, than throwing the whole body of the content there. One will read only 1, 2 options, and then the mind will go off. Then sprinkler can also be can be well represented in a zigzag also. And I think zigzag is now okay. Far away from yesterday's terminology that we had used. And we have included a picture. This picture, our intention is to show the animator the kind of the sprinkle that we want out. That's why this image is there. And then the text here is reading the definition of sprinkler irrigation. Why? Because we have to include also the blind people to know about sprinkling. Maybe you could guide us more on this, but we thought it wise that this definition has to be also uttered out in audio for them to comprehend with it. And then furthermore, on drip irrigation, what we have added, we want here something like it can be a video or a skit or something, but showing this kind of irrigation. The water is just dropping just on the crop, and you can see here we are saying animate water droplets dripping out of the pipe passing near the crop in a garden. So even if he's a little bit not experienced, we'll know that a pipe, then with it there is water, and is just passing over the crop, and then water is coming out of the crop. Okay, so that was the end, and the numbering is like this. Just 1 minute to. So this is the irrigation is the topic, which becomes 1.0. Then under irrigation, we have different field layouts of irrigation, and becomes 1.1. And then we have irrigation methods, that's 1.2. Now, under 1.2, we now have other headings, and those are the ones there. But we picked out this and this for demonstration purposes, meaning others can also be got. I thank you for listening. That was the modification from yesterday's work. I could call in for any comments or any supplements, additions, and reductions. Thank you very much. I'm Moses Byaruhanga from Busitema University.
Let's go forward a bit. Let me see the demonstration. The next 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, yeah, I wanted to see the number. Let's be sure that. Great. Thank you, Moses. So, feedback?
Yes, I do appreciate, thank you, Moses. We appreciate the way, more especially the format you chose. That is quite innovative. I'm very sure for the animator, it will be a lot easier than when you are dealing with a block text in the form. This one is a lot understandable. I have 2 observations. One is that as the content expert, wherever you can find an image, for example, now those images are presets. For the animation, when you have an image that you know this is what zigzag looks like, animating it becomes easy for the animator. So wherever possible, when you can find an image, include it. The other thing I was wondering and inquiring about is as you prepare and organize this content, are you focused only on what they can see on the screen, or you will also be willing to provide notes that even though it's not on the screen, because the screen, if you give it too much, it will take a lot of time for it.
Yeah.
So, but a learner may need to get more detail, which cannot be given just on the animation, in case they want to get more notes. Have you thought of providing notes that, for example, explain those different principles of irrigation in some way of detail, some paragraphs or something, because we can provide a section where we can have notes for someone who wants to go into. I don't know, Charles will handle that.
I think I talked about that earlier. You can put notes. Not too much, as you say, yes. That is as a summary. Yeah? A quick summary, not a 18-page handout. But yes. Yes.
So in the animation frames, there's where it can be put.
No, they will hide it somewhere. They will put it somewhere. And then
what you do after you've done that, you provide the notes separately, but on the notes, you say these are for frames, this. For example, these are for
1, 2, 4.
As you've labeled.
Does it work in the same way as something like footnotes in PowerPoint?
No, actually, we will have a link button.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That whoever wants to read more
notes, which is notes. They click on it, it opens up a window where they can see.
Where they can read. Oh, wow.
Yeah, it can show you something.
Then that's good. That means we can as well go further in depth with some of these contents. For example, this. And then we can have it more explained.
Show you something.
This it looks like this because it is in mobile, but on the PC, this is on the PC, so we'll have that.
Oh,
when someone clicks there, if there is notes, they will have.
Okay.
But this window which has got something, for example, if we are if this one go to next.
I've got that title.
Can you now explain to us there also?
No, why can
Doctor, if you can use that so that we
I don't know whether it can be displayed.
No, I don't.
Maybe we can continue to give feedback, yeah, for us to redeem time as we get the URL out. Maybe is there any other person who has a comment before I come in? Yes, madam.
My comment is not really, okay, what I've just realized or observed depending on how they presented their work, they organized this, but I realized that when we are making these layouts and trying to follow the script, it should be in a narrative form of way that the previous easily connects to the next kind of thing. I don't know if that makes sense. For example, if I started with irrigation, I should make it in when they're telling us about storybooks, they mentioned something about making it interesting and kind of interactive. I realized that even as we prepare the scriptural content, we should be able to make it narrative in its own self and continuous. So that, let me say, I've talked about irrigation, that irrigation is this and this. I don't just go to the next thing that is maybe part of irrigation, but it does not closely relate to what I talked about earlier. Let me give an example. If I say irrigation, then I move to methods of irrigation without introducing like something like that. So irrigation in a previous slide will not be kind of systematic in the way it comes out. I don't know if that's
okay. About the order, again, everything comes from from the course and the course content, how it is ordered. Probably. Is it types of irrigation first, methods of irrigation? What's the difference between types of irrigation and methods of irrigation? I thought it was there. I get the same thing. Yeah. So, depending on how the curriculum is ordered, I think yes. Your concern is that the previous one should link to the next one. Yeah. So, everybody should actually be doing that. Any other comments? Yes, Doctor.
just a request that before we finish room this evening,
Yeah.
the engineering group should show us exactly how they are doing those slides. Because our is still a mess.
It's not a mess. Okay.
But I think the format is just right. So long as the content you want to present. And
yeah, I think you're going to pleasantly surprise us. That's what we want to see. Okay? You're going to surprise us. But I think most importantly, they picked what I did yesterday. That was how I showed you yesterday. The format actually. That was yesterday's format. So depending on how big your course unit is, I think if you are more comfortable with this approach, I'll just share with you the template, and then you follow that. It's okay, because that's what I used yesterday. And personally, okay, in my own design, I find that more interesting. But there are people I trained earlier, they prefer to do a Word document, so I didn't want to insist on them using this approach. But you who are able to take this quickly, it's good. It's the best actually. Yeah.
And then I'm just seeking clarification. If we are making that, we are making our write-up.
Yeah.
Should we mention also the learning outcome to be achieved, or we just
at the beginning?
or we
Yes.
just leave it silent? Okay.
No. At the beginning, it's important because that's what opens. Even if you go to, you're creating a course on Moodle on your elements, the learning outcomes must be there. Because students at the back of their mind, they should know why they're doing this. So the learning outcomes are number one. They must come at the beginning. It's important. Yeah. Okay. If there's no other comments, maybe I have two. I have two comments. I hope Moses is listening. Yeah? Oh, you're taking in. Okay, the group members can take it.
Yeah, we can take.
Just pick anyone. So up there you have the menu, which is like the whole, almost like table of contents. There's notes. Let's say each slide has notes on it.
Okay.
For this particular course, you don't have to do it the way you it is like there, but just to show, click on any one.
So that means we shall have to, you tell the frame, for example, 1.1.2, then the notes of that. Oh, it's not a compulsory field. It's just, okay. Yeah, that's good.
But definitely it would be a nice thing to have, eh? Because your students are also used to their handouts, isn't it?
Yeah.
So if you can give brief notes, I think that would be helpful.
Yeah, okay.
And I remember talking about that you can give brief notes, and then if you need further readings, also you can also give hyperlinks now to other documents externally. Okay? But still the brief notes would be nice to have.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you for that.
So my comments, just as you were there.
Yes.
Yes, this is an improved version of yesterday. So from good, you have moved to very good.
Oh, thank you very much.
Very good, so well done.
Thank you.
You are asking whether the audio text, the definition and
For the
text
definition to be repeated
to
with
be
sound.
repeated.
Yes.
I think what happens is, if the animation is talking about that definition, what we call the animation text, the definition down, which is voiced, okay? Which is the voice over text.
Over text,
what you
yes.
have put as voice over text will also run. It has to be there for those who are able to read it, okay? So that they're able to follow. They're able to follow. Then somebody can listen and also follow. That's okay. So it caters for both. So the text needs to be there as the audio runs. Helps. So that's why it's okay.
All right.
Dripping. Yes. When I looked at the picture of the dripping of yesterday looked real dripping.
Yeah, it looked dripping.
But now the one of today, it was like the water was flowing constantly.
It was dripping, but
The water was flowing constantly.
okay, so I think we included that after we had.
So the pictures were the pictures must be indicative pictures, so that those of Jim know exactly that this like
the dripping like
this.
this.
Very beautiful, huh?
Yeah.
So that's the dripping. That's nice. But now in the other one, in 1.24, I think.
Down.
1.25. Yes.
This one.
Now this is sprinkling. Is that sprinkling?
No.
That is
It's dripping.
And the water is flowing constantly.
We included this because
It's a different dripping method.
this is another type of
So let us straight, but what is explained is not dripping, true. That's not that's another form that should have been explained before. So you have your point that what we're animating is not this.
It's not that much.
It's animate after dripping.
Yes.
Yes, so that's
So
what.
in other words, the other picture should have been.
This one, yes, that was the one I was actually looking. So that for me in my head, that's tricky. But thank you. So this emphasizes that whenever you are putting a picture, when you put the picture for what you want them to animate, get the close picture, like Jim was saying. Pictures are priceless, so it makes their life easy, but ensure you get the right one, so that there are no mistakes. Yeah, so I thought I observed as I needed to see. Yeah. Yes, please.
Thank you, Charles. I want to take it from where we have learners with low vision. They will not be able to see the picture or the animation. This one goes to the animators. This animated video, is it for only learners without disabilities or including those with disabilities?
If I may respond with every text you are seeing there, it will not be in the frame. The frame will only have the picture. And the number will be the heading.
Yes.
The other side, it has got instructions, which will be indicated in the animation that you see. That text which has audio is going to be audio. You won't see that text. So the whole thing, the whole frame will have the animation and a few those headings that you can see there on top. However, to answer your, if that is not good enough, those who cannot see properly, we hope they can hear properly. Because the audio is going to be explained. Whatever will be playing in that frame. So the picture, for him, the picture is at the corner because he has to tell us what we have to do with that picture. But in the end, whatever he has told us to do with that picture, we will bring the picture and the picture will cover the whole space. Yeah, that all of that thing is covered.
You know, when you are teaching students with disabilities, especially those with low vision and vision, they have issues to understand concepts. You want this learner to understand what sprinkling means. It is easy to explain, but for him, he has never seen or touched anything sprinkling. So it is within our mandate. If we want to make our friends more inclusive, to ensure that we avail a space for what we call descriptive movie explanations. A case in point, can you go back to the first slide? Animate a pipe sprinkling out water to crops in the garden controlled by a person. We have started visualizing what we want to see. I expect the animation to be there, but also some text, descriptive text explaining what is happening in the animated video. For your own information, even blind people watch movies, what we call descriptive movies, and you narrate everything because it's just following the text.
You can read the text, but you can't see a bigger image.
No, I think you're not getting him well. This is what he's meaning. Take an example. A pipe.
Yes.
I'm holding a pipe.
Yes.
And I am spraying with water sprinkling out of the pipe.
Yes.
But I'm animating, I'm there.
Yes.
The person who is not seeing is not able to see what I'm doing.
Cannot see.
So how do you help the person who is not seeing to know that what is on the screen now is a man sprinkling? That's what he's meaning.
You're looking at someone who has never seen it at all.
Yeah.
But it's just having a feel by just either listening and you want to that person to visualize the actual sprinkling of water.
Yes, that's what he's meaning. How do we bring out?
I thought that would be handled in the audio.
Yes, this is the audio, but this audio is actually defining this. So
that's why I asked you a question.
But now
the animated video is it focusing on certain learners only or for all?
It's for all.
If it's for all, we need to give a descriptive text. I want to take an example from my sister. You asked him a question. Where is the brief? You know what? Where I'm coming from. You're not able to see the picture. But if we give you an ability to describe the drip is in, in the middle of the pipe, and water is going on the ground or the crop in the ground, something like that, it gives me independence and to access.
So now, okay, forgive some of us who are not well versed in the.
And that's why we are here. That's why we are here.
But now, what is this descriptive text? Is this something that is read out?
Or is scripted?
How does it?
They won't see. Yes. Actually, he has just explained it. That you explain that here there is a pipe with a hole in it, and water is coming out of that hole. Now you're trying to explain to that person.
text or audio?
End of your choice.
End of the choice. But as long as this is able to come out for that specific individual to be able to comprehend what you are saying.
So maybe that means, yes, that means the voice over text. Okay? The voice over text becomes the descriptive text. So that as the animation is playing, what the voice over text says is actually what is happening, right? So that's how we shall do it. Maybe that's how we shall move it. And that's what he's saying.
I don't think it should be like that. Because the person who can see, and here, maybe they'll be the majority. You want them to just go flow normally. Then they want to have issues, maybe we put an option somewhere to listen. Maybe.
And this is what I was talking about yesterday. Can we customize the LMS to view content based on their abilities? Because now, if we put descriptive text here, remember that there is someone who is going to come and all the senses are working, and those are the majority. This person is already seeing someone is spraying and is even seeing the animation, and you're still doubling it in the audio. You mute the audio.
Can I have some inquiry?
Yes, please.
What is an animation? Can somebody make me understand what an animation is? We have been talking about it yesterday.
Okay.
What is it?
An animation is a visual representation of an idea in the form of a video.
And what we are arguing is what we are always talking about. Is what Charles have been talking about. Voice over text. And that visual representation is what we are representing here. And what my brother is talking about, Bill is talking about, of course, it's okay to really cater for here. Unless we are talking of now audio presentation, audio book, which will not be an audio, and what? Animation. Do you get it? It will now be again another version of a presentation which we are putting on animations to cater basically for learners who are blind. It will now be in audio form, not in animated what? Form. I don't, is it clear? That over text is already here.
Because the goal of this, my ultimate goal as a lecturer or as a content developer here, I don't want the learners to take home the animation, but I want them to take home the definition of education principles. So if I now put the audio text to explain what is taking place here, the learner who is not seeing might take up that and is amidst of many facts, is not getting the definition. So
I think we need to think strategically here.
yeah.
Because when National Council was inspecting the different elements of the different institutions, one of the key questions was that how is this compatible with the persons with disability? Now we have a scenario like this. You're developing content. You are one of the 7 institutions that is teaching both what we call the normal students, and the ones that are
At disabled.
yes.
Something like that.
So how do you cater for both? You will be able to enjoy the same learning environment, the same learning things, without being discriminated. Because when you start saying that I'm going to do an audio book, that means one, you're increasing a lot of work for the person who is producing this. That is one. He has to produce content for this and then for that good. But the same way should be cut across. And I think we were having a discussion yesterday with him. And at some point it came up that some of these learners are now being placed into these other normal schools. And they are learning properly with the rest of the students. One, it increases their self-esteem, which is I think what they are looking at the end of the day. That they are also normal human beings like any other person. So how do we cater for them? With an animation. Should we go the descriptive way? That if you know you are able to see and listen and you feel this is taking your time, mute, let it pass and simply watch, then you move on. Or we do it separately. Shall we have achieved our goal? If National Council for Education came to inspect our systems, assuming they have come the second time, shall we pass the test? If we cannot provide for these people, where are they going to learn from? And who's going to cater for them at the end?
Maybe just for clarification, I'm not meaning that we change this animations to audiobooks.
No.
And also when we are making animations, it shouldn't be over congested. We get it? It should be precise, very clear. I think that could be the quality. Should be precise. And if it is over congested again, it may again compromise with its quality, is what I'm thinking. But when we are now talking of audio over text, which has always been talking about yesterday, is catering for learners who are blind. And also in another way is catering for learners who are deaf. They can read. And those ones who are blind can hear. Only that may be the quality of the audio should be more descriptive to make the blind person understand better. Yeah.
And I think that is what is going to bring out the actual animation in the way it's supposed to. Because we are dealing with the still pictures that are going to appear like they are moving images at the end of the day. Try to describe exactly what is happening in that specific frame.
So I think maybe what we can do, we just have a descriptive text and this part of the text. And when a person with disability enters, we have to select whether it's taking this part or the other part.
No. Okay. I think your battery is running out, so. But we have understood the concept. What is important, I want to emphasize again. I thought from yesterday I've been nailing this. That this design, whatever we're creating, must be inclusive. Okay? So if we separate, now that's not inclusive. If we're saying, now for you guys who are this, go this way. For you guys who are, no. It must be inclusive. Whatever we are describing, whatever we are putting should take care of all. That one I emphasized yesterday, and I think we need to go in that direction. So, the changes or the differences must come in the way we present it. And if you need the definitions, still the definition could be actually up like we put it, but as the voice over text, you're creating the voice over text, it could start from the definition and go into explaining. Okay? Right? You include the definition as part of the voice over text, and then the description follows the definition, and then it will still be on the same frame, which should be fine, I think. Okay? So that will take care of the animations now that are the movie that is told in audio.
Yes.
Yes? Which is told in audio, basically. And by the way, the things are not still pictures. When you animate, there is supposed, any animation is a motion. There must be a movement, there must be an action somewhere. Okay? So this has to be the approach. So that it takes care of the definition that you don't want to miss. The definition will still be voiced, and then whatever is happening can also be voiced, and that takes care of everybody. Yes? There's a hand up there.
Thank you very much. Picking up from there about the motion. So the animators, we have the effects, the motion and the voice and the effects. We achieve that as well. Because that would be a good one. For sprinkling, it is tall. Then for the draping, rather for the dripping, it's that. And for sprinkling, it's yes. So if we achieve that, it's another conclusion.
Yeah.
So I
I think
think
Jim can add effects.
In such case,
As somebody is reading.
where the sound is being made, then we can calculate.
Yes.
So it's a good one.
yeah, you know issues of accessibility, Charles, they're really complicated.
We are learning.
The field where I come from, it's totally very hard to understand. But the fact is, if you work together as a team, you can make these friends more inclusive as possible. Because at least you have the difference from one to one.
And that's the very reason why I've been emphasizing from yesterday is that our partner, Mastercard Foundation, is very, very strict about inclusion. So we are not going to run away from inclusion, but we are going to work with those. That's why Dean and maybe you are here. You're supposed to support us. You're supposed to support the team in this area of inclusion, how we make it better. And I think eventually it will be a plus on all of you here, your CVs, okay? You are people who are designers who know you are content developers with inclusion in mind. Close it to your CV, by the way. Yeah? So that way now you have an added advantage over there. So let us work together. Yeah. Team engineering, thank you very much. We are running short. Those are very useful feedbacks. Moses, thank you.
A big thanks to you, because you are the